the person who will start off today giving us sort of our charge and giving us some initial thoughts, as well as providing us sort of a wrap-up at the end of what we've learned and where we should go next. Jim Oberstar was in the United States House of Representatives from 1975 to 2011. He represented northeastern Minnesota's 8th Congressional District, which included the cities of Duluth, Brainerd, Grand Rapids, International Falls, and Hibbing. And he served as chairman of the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee from 2007 to 2011, and was ranking minority member prior to that. I've had the privilege over the last 10 years of working with Jim Oberstar. He's taken a special interest in working with the University of Minnesota through the Center for Transportation Studies, which Lori McGinnis heads up, and we've held a number of forums over the years with CTS and also with the Humphrey School to focus on different transportation projects. What I've learned is that for the past 50 years, when he was in Congress and working in Congress, he's literally touched every transportation issue that has been of major and minor importance in the United States. And he remembers each one of these and also who was involved in that sort of thing. So he can tell lots of stories. But mostly he's become a scholar of transportation and he loves transportation. So I'm pleased to introduce Jim Oberstar.
Wednesday night in Duluth was the retirement of our longtime port director, Adolph Ojard. And I was there to speak about Adolph, and I said, as Dave Helberg, the former director of the Port Authority of Duluth, said, when Oberstar begins with the Phoenicians, beware. It's going to be a long evening. I won't start with the Phoenicians. The railroad is the lifeblood of the North Branch community. All goods are shipped to and by rail. Fresh apples, oranges, bananas in winter, furniture, wagons, and even draft horses. All products are shipped out by rail. Potatoes, potato starch, small grains, wild hay. By train, travelers reach Duluth or the Twin Cities in less than a day. Amazingly, on a limited express, which has few stops, people arrive in the cities in about an hour. Written in the North Branch Review, 1894, recounted in Potato City, a book by Sue Leaf, a North Branch native and writer. It still takes an hour to get to the Twin Cities by car. They did it by train 100 years ago. We, in a way, in transportation, have to recapture our past and embellish it for the future. The North Branch Review in that same article goes on, a bicycle craze hits North Branch, and the ungainly machines appear on the unpaved city streets. The fad affects men and women, presumably the younger set, and women don bloomers for ease in pedaling. Well, they don't don bloomers anymore for pedaling. And the bicycling craze is back. In 1980, I sat on the committee dais as we rubbed our beads and worried about deregulation. We were facing the third of the deregulation initiatives of the Carter administration. We've done aviation in '78, we've done trucking earlier, bus in '79, trucking earlier in '80, and now it was rail deregulation. And I wondered what would happen. Would there be competition? Would there be consolidation? Would small towns continue to thrive? Would agricultural products move from the countryside to the city and to the great markets beyond and beyond our shores? What would be the connection between rail and port and truck in this new era, uncharted era for us? Well, all of those things happened. We did have consolidation, we did have competition, we did have growth. And in the trucking side, we went from 1 million trucks in 1979 to 7 million trucks today. In the rail deregulation, we went from 428 million train miles to 493 million train miles last year. We went from an average length of haul in 1980 of 615 miles to 917 miles today. The average tons train load have increased by 1/3. That's because the rail sector has invested, has upgraded its technology, has moved with technology into a new and challenging era. Meanwhile, our highway system has not kept pace. And I've said many times that when Warren Buffett bought BNSF Railroad, he was betting against our surface transportation system, that our highways, our roadways are not going to be able to move goods efficiently, and that the most efficient means of moving them would be by rail. The real story is that, and he was right, but the real story is that all modes have a role to play in each in their own place, and moving to an intermodal transportation vision of America for the future must be our challenge. When the Texas Transportation Institute, which partners with the University of Minnesota in doing an annual congestion index, gave their report last year, it put the cost of congestion at $121 billion. There are over 100 cities with congestion of a magnitude that warrants that level of assessment. 20 years ago, it was only Los Angeles that had that kind of congestion. Moving away from congestion, opening our marketplaces, being more competitive, being more intermodal, interreactive is what we need to do, and will be the focus of this conference and other forums that we will hold at the Humphrey School of Public Affairs. If we don't move in that direction, then all we'll be left with is lofty visions, scholarly reports, and no action. In the National Transportation Policy and Revenue Study Commission report, Matt Rose, one of the commissioners, wrote, "The Commission succeeded in bringing the rail sector to the policy table in the way that has never been done before." BNSF's commitment to this forum is something that has never been done before, and we thank BNSF, thank all of the participants for joining us for today's program, and I look forward to a very stimulating discussion. Thank you all for being here.